What is up, guys? How's it going? Happy Thursday night. I don't think Zeke's going to be out, Jake, but if he is, it's definitely Pollard over Connor. Herbert could put up 30 tonight, even without Mike Williams and an injured Keenan Allen. And I'm just reading a report from 8 minutes ago that both Keenan and Mike Williams are going to play tonight. That's what it's looking like it's trending towards, even though all day it was looking like it was trending away from that. It is now looking like both of them are going to play. We're going to be getting an update about Keenan Allen very soon. If you're watching live on YouTube right now, hit that like button. Really do appreciate it. Happy Thursday night, guys. Going to try to get to every single one of your questions. What's up, Julian? How's it going, Carter? I would start Tom Brady over Derek Carr. Both of them should do well, though. I would be starting Josh Allen over Justin Herbert as well. Josh Allen cannot be benched. With how good Josh Allen has been playing, you can't be benching him. Start Keenan Allen over Jarvis Landry if he's active. No, I wouldn't do that. Is Eckler playing? Yes, Eckler is playing, and he absolutely has to be in your starting lineups. Guys, hit that like button if you're watching live on YouTube. If you're watching live on TikTok and you haven't checked out our YouTube channel yet, you got to go do that. That's okay, Josh. Finals are more important, man. All right, Caden. Yeah, we'll be talking a little bit about our DraftKings lineups tonight. I'll be making one on stream prior to the kickoff. Going to be doing that in about 15, 20 minutes. Hit that like button if you're watching live on YouTube. Really does help us out a ton. How about Monday night? Yeah, Monday night, Matt. What a game. And first of all, we called it with Lamar Jackson. I mean, I've been saying it for about a month now that Lamar Jackson was going to be a league winner if you could make it to the playoffs with him. And that's exactly what he has been. Him going to the locker room to take a poop and coming back also just added to the excitement of that game. What an insane game. And I do think we also learned that the Browns have a good enough offense to keep up with any team. Their defense really has to improve. The Mark Andrews, no TD, Matt, was brutal, though, especially because he put up 77 yards, and he actually did look pretty good. And one of those big plays he had looked like he could have gotten into the end zone, so that was a little brutal. Yeah, my lineup on Monday Night Football did pretty well just because Lamar Jackson was in the captain spot. Can I trust Josh Jacobs? Yeah, you can trust Josh Jacobs. You have to trust Josh Jacobs because he's seeing top 10 volume at the running back position. I would be playing Jacobs over McKissick for sure, but DeAndre Swift has to be considered over Josh Jacobs. And again, if you're watching live on YouTube, hit that like button. It does help us out a lot. I'm reading a report right now that is looking like both Keenan Allen and Mike Williams are going to be playing now. All of a sudden, the Tyron Johnson and Jalen Guyton sneaky flex plays are kind of out of the picture at this point. Mike Williams playing is actually coming as pretty much of a shock. He was leaning towards doubtful most of the day today. Jacobs over Mike Davis. That's a close one. I would probably lean towards Mike Davis in a PPR league. Ayuk or Hilton. I do not think we can bench Brandon Ayuk, guys. Brandon Ayuk has gone over 70 yards in 4 straight games. He's top 10 in the NFL in terms of percentage of air yards, total air yards. I mean, you can't be benching Brandon Ayuk in the fantasy playoffs, guys. You got to get him into your starting lineups. He's a top 12 wide receiver in fantasy football right now, especially with Deebo Samuel out. I would go Cam Akers over Mike Davis, Josh. Cam Akers needs to also, he's another guy, needs to be in your starting lineup. I mean, there's no situation where Cam Akers should be on your bench in the fantasy football playoffs. You just cannot let that happen, guys. You can't let it happen. You cannot let Cam Akers ride out on your bench in the fantasy playoffs. It's too big of a mistake. And again, if you're watching live on YouTube right now, hit that like button. Really do appreciate it. Helps us out a ton. If you're watching live on TikTok, you haven't subscribed to us on YouTube yet, don't know what you're waiting for. Thielen or Keenan? I would lean towards Adam Thielen. Guys, Keenan Allen has increased risk tonight. He has a good chance still, though, to give you wide receiver 1 number. So you're going to have to make somewhat of a judgment call with Keenan Allen because Keenan Allen has played through injuries in the past, and they're up against a Raiders defense that has all sorts all sorts of injuries. I mean, this is not a good Raiders defense, guys. They've allowed over 200 rushing yards in back-to-back games now. It is ugly. They allowed over 200 rushing yards to the New York Jets 2 weeks ago, and they're even more injured than they were then. I mean, this Raiders defense is bad, and that's why I like the Chargers plus 3.5 tonight. I think this should be closer to an even spread. Apparently, John Gruden is calling the snaps, calling the offensive plays for the Raiders tonight too. I don't think that's a good thing for the Raiders. I think that's going to be a lot of running for Josh Jacobs, not a lot of as much throwing for Derek Carr. I don't think that's a good offensive strategy. I think that the Chargers are going to win this one. So plus 3.5 seems like pretty good value to me. Should I bench Wilson for Hurts? No, I wouldn't do that. And Jalen Hurts, we're going to be talking about him a lot on our Sunday stream this week. And I'm always live for the 3 to 4 hours leading up to football on Sunday. But let's talk a little bit about Jalen Hurts now, because he rushed over 100 rushing yards against one of the best rushing defenses in the NFL historically, one of the best rushing defenses ever in the NFL. He goes over 100 rushing yards, though he did not impress as a passer. That is something we really want to see out of him moving forward. If he actually wants to be the future of the Eagles, we're going to need to see him actually throw the ball well, because he didn't throw the ball well. He was pretty much below average in every passing metric that there is in terms of completion percentage, deep ball completion percentage above expectation. He really has not jumped off the page at all in terms of passing, though his rushing volume does give him a pretty high floor. McLaren or Ayuk, again, you cannot bench Brandon Ayuk, guys. Brandon Ayuk cannot be on your bench. He's one of the most consistent and safest wide receivers in all of football right now. He's gotten over 70 receiving yards in 4 straight games. He's the clear alpha number 1 wide receiver for his offense, and he's leading the NFL. He's top 5 in the NFL in air yards over the last month. I mean, there's so much to love about Ayuk, and there's a lot to dislike about Terry McLaurin right now, and it's nothing against Terry McLaurin. If you check out my top 10 wide receivers on YouTube, I posted a video about my top 10 wide receivers in the NFL. And Terry McLaurin's on that list. I mean, he's a top 10 talent, though his quarterback situation is absolutely brutal. So I would go Ayuk over McLaurin. Who do you think is going to be the starter next year, Wentz or Hurts? I bet it's going to be Hurts at this point. It seems like the decision's almost already made. He's going to have to do really bad for it not to be him, in my opinion. I hope that the Patriots somehow find their way with Carson Wentz. And guys, if you're watching live on YouTube right now, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button if you haven't subscribed yet. Let's see if we can get up to 50 likes. Really does help us out a ton. Takes you 2 seconds. Just hit that like button really quickly. Keenan, what is up with him? Yeah, he's dealing with an injury, and he's up against an extremely injured Raiders defense. So in full health, Keenan Allen would be locked in as a top 12 wide receiver this week, though because of the injury, though, again, it does look like he's going to play. It is a tough decision for Keenan Allen, for people that have Keenan Allen on their fantasy teams. Personally, I think I would go out and trust him. I'm usually of the mindset that if NFL players feel healthy enough to go out there on the field, that they're healthy enough for my fantasy lineup. So I would be okay starting Keenan Allen, but no, I wouldn't start him over a guy like Brandon Ayuk or another wide receiver 1 who we know is fully healthy. Akers or Eckler? I would lean towards Austin Eckler. Austin Eckler's in such an amazing spot tonight against a very injured Raiders defense. He's leading the NFL in targets at the running back position since he's returned to the field, and that's going to continue tonight. The offense is really flowing through Austin Eckler, and it's actually held back Justin Herbert a little bit. And I love Austin Eckler, one of my favorite players in the NFL, but he has held back Justin Herbert. We've seen Justin Herbert's average depth of target drop significantly as we see him throwing less and less deep balls and more just dump off passes to Austin Eckler. And it's hurt his efficiency a little bit. Can't wait to watch Herbert feast. Yeah, I think Justin Herbert's going to have a fantastic game tonight, though. I think this is going to be the bounce back game we've been waiting for Justin Herbert against just such an injured Raiders defense. They got all sorts of injuries. Basically, half of their defense will be backups tonight. I think Justin Herbert's going to go over 300 yards and at least 2 touchdowns. Montgomery or Mike Davis? I would lean towards Montgomery. I don't think you can bench him at this point. Keenan, Beasley, or Lockett? These are some tough choices. It's hard to be starting Cole Beasley over a guy like Keenan Allen, though. I think I would still go Keenan Allen in that situation. And again, you guys are reading the same injury reports that I'm reading, and it's looking like Keenan Allen is healthy enough to play, but he's not 100%. I still think that 70% of Keenan Allen is better than 100% of Cole Beasley. So I would still be going with Keenan Allen. Henry or Andrews? Mark Andrews cannot be benched, guys. he's up there with Travis Kelce and Darren Waller. I mean, here's the tiers of tight ends. Update about the tiers of tight ends is obviously Travis Kelce's way above. He's tier 1. And then way down here in tier 2 is Mark Andrews, and it's Darren Waller. They're in the same they're the only 2 players really in tier 2 at the tight end position. So both of them must be started. Cooper or Ayuk? I would go with Ayuk over Cooper. Akers or Sanders? God, I've been wrong about Miles Sanders every single freaking week, but I would still go Cam Akers over Miles Sanders, even though it does look like Jalen Hurts raises the ceiling and floor for Miles Sanders. Hunter Henry over 41.5 yards. Yeah, it's not so bad, especially with the injuries at the wide receiver position. We have identified in the WalterPicks app one exploitable player prop pick tonight. If you're a premium subscriber, you can get access to that pick. It's a little bit of a sketchy pick. I'm not going to lie. I'm still heavy on it because I am on every single prop pick. This isn't a player I necessarily enjoy betting on, but they set the line too low. And so I'm on it, and it's an exploitable prop pick according to our artificially intelligent algorithm, Walter. You can get access to that pick. Start your 3-day free trial right now in the WalterPicks app on the iOS App Store. I've spent over 400 hours building this app at this point, so appreciate you guys trying it out. Start that 3-day free trial. See if you think it's worth the money. Connor or Pollard? I'm pretty sure Zeke is playing, guys. So Pollard can't be trusted, and the only chance he can be trusted is if Zeke is out. Kittle practiced. Yeah, Kittle is not human, guys. I mean, his diagnosis was basically he's out for the season, and Kittle was like, no, I'm not out for the season, and now he's back practicing already. I think he's going to be back by week 16. I'd be shocked if he was out there this week, though. Yeah, Eckler's going to have an absolute night tonight. Lamar or Goff? You can't be benching Lamar Jackson, guys. And I've been saying it for months. Lamar Jackson was going to be a league winner in the fantasy football playoffs, and that's exactly what's happening. So I do think that you have to start Lamar Jackson in every single possible situation. And I'm just reading this report from Adam Schefter 2 minutes ago. Wide receivers Keenan Allen and Mike Williams now will play tonight. Both will be on, quote unquote, a rep count. Oh, God. This is just the worst possible situation from a fantasy football perspective, both on a snap count. What does that even mean? How big of a snap count? I mean, this is starting to look like a fadeaway situation. Can Walter account for a weird injury situation like Keenan Allen? Don't have him, just curious. Yeah, good question. Because our artificially intelligent algorithm, there are some things that it struggles with. One of them is injuries. And when it comes to injuries, this is where we have kind of implemented like a human component to the artificial intelligence, where we're feeding it information about injuries because it doesn't know about the injuries. And so we have to tell the algorithm about the injuries, and that adds in some personal bias. And so we basically let the algorithm know an adjustment of snap percentages, essentially based on the injuries. And so it adjusts for that. But at some level, no, it does not know that Keenan Allen could only be playing 20 snaps tonight. So there is a little bit of, a human element to the game of football and projecting the game of football that we have to implement to be able to be more accurate than ESPN and Yahoo and other sources like that. How was your day? It was great, man. Thanks for asking. I'm pumped to watch some football tonight. I think it's going to be a really entertaining game. Huge over-under tonight, 51.5 over-under in this game. That's going to be an exciting game to watch. I think that the over is going to be pretty close to hitting too. I think they set that line pretty well. The over-unders are always set very well. And that's why I was interested in starting Jalen Guyton and Tyron Johnson in my fantasy football league. But now neither of them can be trusted because Guyton and Johnson are going to be behind both Keenan Allen and Mike Williams, who I guess are playing on a rep count, according to Adam Schefter, though that's the only information we have. So who knows how much that rep count will be. I do have to update Keenan Allen and Mike Williams to be projected in the WalterPicks app now. But, I mean, it's a brutal situation for fantasy managers in the fantasy football playoffs. I actually had Jalen Guyton and Tyron Johnson in my starting lineup at one point today, but now it is tough. Love the premium plan. Help me with waivers. Jeff Wilson or David Johnson or Lynn Bonin Jr. To me, David Johnson should be added in all leagues. It looks like Duke Johnson could miss this week. And so David Johnson is just a volume-based running back too. But Jeff Wilson is a guy that I added in every single one of my leagues because if Raheem Mostert doesn't play, Jeff Wilson has running back one upside against a Dallas Cowboys team that has been absolutely brutal. at stopping the run this season. So Lamar or Rodgers, I would. This is the one situation where you could argue that you have to bench Lamar Jackson because Aaron Rodgers, he leads the NFL in touchdowns. He arguably has the most upside of any quarterback in the NFL. Again, I would probably lean towards Lamar Jackson in most league settings just because the rushing touchdowns are more valuable than the passing touchdowns. Hey, bro, AJ Brown a must start this week? Yeah, man. AJ Brown's a must start every single week. AB or Boyd? Oh, Antonio Brown has really not had the upside that we thought he was going to have, but I would still lean Antonio Brown. And again, guys, if you're watching live on YouTube, hit that like button. Really does help us out a ton. Josh Allen or Herbert? I would lean towards Josh Allen. And I think Justin Herbert's going to have a fantastic game tonight. I think he's going to go over 300 yards and 2 touchdowns, but I would still lean towards Josh Allen because Josh Allen's rushing upside combined with his passing upside, which is pretty much the same as Justin Herbert's passing upside, makes him a better play. Justin Herbert is not quite as good of an option as Josh Allen. So I would be going with Josh Allen, and they're both probably going to end up doing very well. I think both of them are going to do well. If you allow 164 yards to Kenyon Drake, then it obviously isn't working. Yes, I 100% agree with you. And the same is true when you allow over 200 rushing yards on just first and second downs to the New York Jets, which is what the Raiders did 2 weeks ago. And then they followed that up by allowing over 200 rushing yards again to the Indianapolis Colts. I mean, this rushing defense, guys, you're going to see it tonight. The passing defense is not good either with all the injuries, but this rushing defense could be the worst in the NFL right now with the Las Vegas Raiders. I mean, it is an embarrassment. It is an embarrassment to the NFL. You let up 200 rushing yards to the New York Jets. Absolutely insane. Cole Beasley, Jeff Wilson Jr., or Aguilar at flex. I do like Aguilar tonight, guys. Aguilar has been on a pretty good streak in fantasy football, and he's one of these guys. He got a bad rep on the Eagles with the brutal drops he had, but he's now gone over 20 fantasy points in 2 out of his last 4 games. He's seen at least 6 targets in 4 straight games. No Henry Ruggs tonight. Aguilar has also been a pretty good touchdown machine this season. He's had 7 touchdowns, the 12th highest touchdown rate in the NFL. He's been pretty good, guys, and he's probably the number 1 deep target on the Raiders for this game. He's averaging the 9th highest yards per reception in the NFL. So Aguilar is actually a pretty intriguing upside wide receiver 3 this week in a game. Remember, this game has a 51.5 over under. I mean, they're expecting a lot of points in this game. And so Aguilar has a pretty good chance at a touchdown. Herbert or Roethlisberger? I would lean towards Herbert. I mean, I like Big Ben, but I think Justin Herbert's in a pretty good spot. Again, this game has an over-under of 51.5. Keenan Allen and Mike Williams expected to be playing now on a rep count, whatever that means from Adam Schefter. But I think he's in a great spot with or without Keenan Allen. Keenan Allen or Corey Davis, I would think Keenan Allen. And you got to take a risk at some level, but you got to make a judgment call on how serious you think this Keenan Allen injury is, because the way I look at it, this is the way I look at it, is if Keenan Allen, an NFL football player, feels healthy enough to be out there on an NFL football field, then he's healthy enough to be in my fantasy lineup, because 70% of Keenan Allen is better than 100% of Corey Davis. And I like Corey Davis. He's only gone under 10 fantasy points twice this season, but Keenan Allen is significantly better than Corey Davis. Let's not kid ourselves. So I would still be willing to play Keenan Allen over Corey Davis. I'm also of the mindset of trusting your studs in the fantasy football playoffs. The worst thing in the playoffs is to overthink your lineup decision and then end up being wrong. And then the guy you correctly drafted, by the way, Keenan Allen was a fantastic draft pick by you. Good job identifying him as a good draft pick. And if you use the WalterPicks app in the iOS App Store, you also probably drafted Keenan Allen. He was ranked as a top 6 wide receiver for us before the season. But yeah, I think you got to trust Keenan Allen tonight if he is saying he's healthy enough to go out there. Mike Williams or Hunter Henry? I would lean towards Hunter Henry. Mike Williams is a whole different situation than Keenan Allen. Let's separate these two players, because Keenan Allen has played through injuries before. Mike Williams, have we ever seen him successfully play through an injury? Like, to me, Mike Williams is a significantly higher risk than Keenan Allen tonight. Your app says start Swift over Akers, but on here you're saying Akers is a must start. Does the change if Stafford is out? Yeah, I think with Stafford being out, I much prefer Cam Akers over DeAndre Swift this week. That offense could score 0 points without Matthew Stafford. I mean, it's very possible. So I'm worried that, which is something that actually happened to them already this season with Matthew Stafford playing. So I'm out on DeAndre Swift over Cam Akers if that is the case. And I'm sure that'll be updated in the app once Matthew Stafford is confirmed out. Aguilar or Jeff Wilson. The thing with that decision is we don't know if Jeff Wilson is going to be playing without or with Raheem Mostert at this point. So I would just say screw it and go with Aguilar, because Aguilar has upside. And the worst thing is to wait on Jeff Wilson, then find out Raheem Mostert's playing, and then you're watching that 49ers game and Jeff Wilson's literally only touching the ball 10 times. And that's not what we want out of our starting running backs or flex options. And guys, if you're watching live on TikTok, you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel yet. We're live on YouTube right now too. You got to go subscribe to our YouTube channel. And if you're watching live on YouTube, guys, really do appreciate everyone who's tuned in. Definitely hit that like button. It takes you 2 seconds. It helps us way more than you realize. So take 2 seconds, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button too if you haven't subscribed yet. Really do appreciate it. I'm updating Keenan Allen's projection in the WalterPicks app right now, because we had him projected for 0. It looked like he was trending towards not playing, but here we are. Keenan Allen is in fact playing tonight. I see you shaved. I did shave, Greg. Every week or so I got to shave. Godwin or Jay Jettas this week. Walter says JJ. Yeah, Justin Jefferson is tough to bench, guys. I don't think you can be benching Justin Jefferson. And I got some words for Tom Brady, because what did we do as a fantasy football community to deserve Tom Brady turning Chris Godwin into a wide receiver 3 in fantasy football? I mean, Chris Godwin, one of the most talented wide receivers in the NFL, arguably a top 10 talent if you take away situation. And we think that he's going to be elevated by Tom Brady, but he's been suppressed by Tom Brady, which has been very, very sad. I would go Justin Jefferson over Chris Godwin, though the Bucs are in a fantastic offensive situation this week. I think they're going to put up points. Akers or Swift? I like Akers over Swift, and my artificially intelligent algorithm that I built disagrees with me on this one, but I really don't want many pieces of that Detroit Lions offense in a game without Matthew Stafford. They could score 0 points. I mean, that is very realistic. And by the way, let's talk about Chase Daniels for a second. Chase Daniels has made over $4 million per touchdown that he's thrown in the NFL. He's basically like the real world. What's that show called? I'm blanking on the show, but he basically has just been a backup quarterback, the highest paid backup quarterback in NFL history. $4.8 million per thrown touchdown pass. I mean, pretty ridiculous. Keenan Allen or T.Y. Hilton? I would lean towards Keenan Allen, but T.Y. Hilton's in a fantastic, T.Y. Hilton owns the Houston Texans. He is the Houston Texans' father. So you can consider T.Y. Hilton over Keenan Allen. I mean, T.Y. Hilton's been one of the hottest wide receivers in the NFL over the last month. So maybe I just talked myself out of it. T.Y. Hilton seems like the much safer option over Keenan Allen. But again, I'll say it again. If you have Keenan Allen, he's saying he's healthy enough to play. If you have Keenan Allen, but you have a good enough option like T.Y. Hilton, I think you just go with T.Y. Hilton. If you have an option worse than T.Y. Hilton, then you can start to think about starting Keenan Allen. Because again, I think 70% of Keenan Allen is better than 100% of most players. But I am concerned that maybe we're not even getting 70% of Keenan Allen. What if it's 40% of Keenan Allen? You should start doing fantasy basketball. Good advice, man. I got some exciting news coming in the next week or 2 weeks. Herbert, Tannehill, or Hurst? I would lean towards Herbert over Tannehill and Hurst this week. Justin Jackson inactive tonight for our premium subscribers. That's a good sign. Woods, Jefferson, Ridley, Anderson, Johnson, Ayuk. I would lean towards Jefferson and Ridley. I don't think you can bench Calvin Ridley. Just subscribe. Love premium. Thanks, man. Joseph, I really do appreciate that. And our premium subscribers in the WalterPicks app on the iOS App Store, I really do hope every single one of you, and from the feedback I've gotten, every single one of our premium subscribers has gained more value than they have paid for the premium subscription, which is fantastic to hear. And you can start with a 3-day free trial. See what the premium subscription is like in the WalterPicks app. And Michael Thomas or Keenan Allen? Joseph, I'd for sure go Michael Thomas over Keenan Allen, given the injury situation. It's going to be brutal if you do start Keenan Allen And Keenan Allen is playing. He is playing. But it's going to be brutal if you start Keenan Allen and he only is out there for 20% of the snaps, which, again, it's hard to know exactly what the snap count is going to be. If you think he's at 70%, he's probably worth a start in most situations. But if you think he's closer to 50% or less, and you have a good option like Justin Jefferson, like Brandon Ayuk, like T.Y. Hilton, I'm okay starting all of those guys over Keenan Allen this week, given his situation. Miles Sanders or T.Y. Hilton? I would go T.Y. Akers, Robinson, or Swift. You can't bench Cam Akers, guys. You can't do it. He's averaging 25 touches per game over his last couple of games. Cam Akers is a stud. He is a very, very good running back, as is Jonathan Taylor. Both these rookie running backs took a while to break out, and they were great buy low candidates about a month ago, and now they're going to win fantasy leagues. Both of them, you got to get them into your fantasy lineups. Justin Jefferson or Josh Jacobs? That is a close one because Josh Jacobs is in a good spot tonight. With John Gruden calling the plays, I think that benefits no player more than Josh Jacobs. John Gruden wants to take it back to the 1990s where all people did was run the ball. I think that's good news for Josh Jacobs. I think it's bad news for the entire rest of the Raiders offense. And I think it's bad news for the Raiders as 3-point favorites in this game. I think the Chargers plus 3.5 is fantastic value tonight. But I do think Josh Jacobs is a must start. You think Herbert is going to do good? Yeah, I think Herbert's going to do fantastic tonight. I think he's going to go over 300 yards, and I think he's going to go for at least 2 touchdowns. I think this game, Justin Herbert is going to solidify himself as the offensive rookie of the year, as much as I want it to be Justin Jefferson, because what Justin Jefferson has done on a run-first team with Kirk Cousins as his quarterback, to me, it was one of the most impressive rookie performances I've ever seen. But I do think that Justin Herbert tonight is going to solidify himself as the offensive rookie of the year as he goes over 300 yards, setting the record for the most 300-yard games in a rookie season ever. I mean, we're witnessing Justin Jefferson's best. He's been the best quarterback that we've ever seen in someone's rookie season. Favorite DFS plays tonight? Yeah, let's go through my DFS lineup for tonight. I'm going to be making it right now on stream. And I do think you have to build around Justin Herbert and this Chargers offense, but you can't miss out on Josh Jacobs either. I think Josh Jacobs is the obvious play on the Raiders side of the ball with John Gruden calling the snaps tonight for the Raiders offense. First time that's been the case all season long. And again, if you're watching live on YouTube, hit that like button. Really does help us out a ton. I'm going to be helping us cash in on DraftKings tonight. I'm going with Justin Herbert in my captain slot, especially with the report that Keenan Allen and Mike Williams are both playing tonight, though on a snap count, I think you have to avoid both of them on DraftKings. And so we're going to be stacking Justin Herbert and Josh Jacobs against, I think Hunter Henry has to be stacked with this is a brutal night to be making a DraftKings lineup because you have to decide how much are you trusting Keenan Allen, how much are you trusting Mike Williams? And in my mind, I don't trust Mike Williams at all. I think Keenan Allen can be trusted a little bit, but personally, Austin Eckler is the guy that I want to go with tonight the most in this matchup. So I'm going with him. I'm going to stack in Tyron Johnson because I do think he can benefit if Mike Williams is in fact hobbled tonight. Tyron Johnson is going to be the main benefactor, and that leaves me with not very much left. But I'm going to be going with Kalen Ballage in my last spot, and the reason is that the Las Vegas Raiders have struggled so much to stop the run over the last 2 weeks. They could arguably be the worst run defense in the NFL. Listen to these stats. They allowed over 200 rushing yards to the New York Jets 2 weeks ago on only first and second down. The New York Jets. And then last week, again, over 200 rushing yards allowed to the Indianapolis Colts, who have a good run. They have a good rush offense. But, I mean, I think that Kalen Ballage and Austin Eckler could both very easily clear 50 rushing yards tonight. It won't be surprising to me whatsoever. So I'm actually swapping out. I was $100 short, so I'm swapping out Tyron Johnson. I'm going to have to include at least one more Raiders player in this lineup. So I'm going with Hunter Renfrow, who I feel like I could very easily see John Gruden funneling targets to Hunter Renfrow tonight. That won't be surprising to me at all. So my final lineup, I'm going Justin Herbert in the captain slot. I think you have to go with him in the captain slot. He has by far the most upside in this game tonight. I'm stacking him with Austin Eckler and Hunter Henry. And then I'm going on the other side of the ball. I'm going with Josh Jacobs and Hunter Renfrow. Ayuk or Akers. I think you have to play both of them, man. I think you got to find a spot for both Ayuk and Akers. Personally, I would lean towards Akers over Ayuk if you really had to decide. But yeah, Akers is a must start. I'm playing him over Josh Jacobs as well. Guys, Cam Akers, 25 touches. He's averaging 25 touches per game in the last couple of games. You can't be benching him. Cole Kmet or Logan Thomas. Evan, I would go Cole Kmet. He's been one of our sleeper tight ends for quite some time now. And again, if you're watching live on YouTube, hit that like button. Let's see if we can get to 75 likes. That would be fantastic. Hit that like button. Helps me out a ton. Takes you 2 seconds. Really do appreciate that. If you're watching live on TikTok, you got to go subscribe to our YouTube channel if you haven't subscribed yet. We've passed 2,000 YouTube subscribers in under a month. It's been a fantastic time on YouTube. We're posting some longer form content on there every single week. Coming out with a video about DFS soon. Pick 3. Akers, Kupp, Mike Davis. I'd go Akers. Again, I think Akers is a must start. I think Justin Herbert is also a must start unless you have Lamar Jackson, unless you have Josh Allen, unless you have Aaron Rodgers or Patrick Mahomes or Kyler Murray. You have to be starting Justin Herbert. Like, again, those are probably the only quarterbacks I'm starting over Justin Herbert. Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Patrick Mahomes. I think those are Aaron Rodgers. Those are the only guys that you can confidently be starting over Justin Herbert. I would not be starting Jalen Hurts over Justin Herbert. I would not be starting Taysom Hill or Big Ben over Justin Herbert in this matchup. There's so many injuries on the Raiders side of the ball that you just have to be trusting this Chargers offense tonight. As bad as Anthony Lynn is. I mean, Anthony Lynn, he really, really wants to be worse than Adam Gase, and he isn't, but he's been close, guys. Anthony Lynn has just been a brutal head coach. Somehow, John Gruden is up against a coach like significantly worse than him. Keenan Allen or David Johnson? I would probably lean towards David Johnson. Again, Keenan Allen has he's got an added layer of risk tonight. He has an added layer of risk because we see Keenan Allen injured, but he's on a rep count. According to Adam Schefter, we don't know exactly what rep count means. And to me, that adds an extremely risky layer to playing Keenan Allen. I think if he's at 70%, he's still better than 100% of most players, though. Godwin, Deontay, or Allen, I would probably lean towards Godwin or Deontay Johnson. Again, if you have Keenan Allen and your backup is like bad, like for me, the cutoff is T.Y. Hilton. If you have Keenan Allen and your backup is T.Y. Hilton or better, like a wide receiver 2 or better, I would just go with T.Y. Hilton or the better player, like Ayuk, for example. Deontay Johnson, I would be willing to play. But if your backup is more like a Kiki QT or someone who's more like a wide receiver 3, that's when you can start still considering playing Keenan Allen. Tyreek or A.J. Brown, you can never be benching Tyreek Hill. It sucks benching A.J. Brown too. Yo, is Woods playing? He's questionable. Yeah. Woods is most likely going to be playing. Drake or Montgomery? I would be going with Montgomery, though Drake has been pretty good. Just subbed on YouTube. Thanks, man. I appreciate it. Do you like this prop bet? Over under Eckler 5.5 receptions. Yeah, I like that a lot. He's definitely been over that the last few games. With QB, Herbert or Allen? I like Josh Allen. Again, here's the only quarterbacks I'm starting over Justin Herbert. It's Josh Allen. It's Patrick Mahomes. It's Kyler Murray. And the only other quarterback you could make the argument to be starting over Justin Herbert is Lamar Jackson. Like, those are the only guys. Then you got to be starting Justin Herbert because Justin Herbert is in a fantastic spot, guys. The over-under in this game, 51.5. The Chargers are 3.5-point underdogs. I like that bet, by the way. I don't bet on spreads. I only bet on player prop picks because we've had 67% accuracy betting on our prop picks, identifying exploitable ones using AI and machine learning, which we have identified one as exploitable tonight. If you start your 3-day free trial in the WalterPicks app, you can get access to that right away. But I do think that the Chargers plus 3.5 is a pretty good value against a Raiders defense that is all sorts of injured. They've allowed over 200 rushing yards in back-to-back games. And now John Gruden calling the offensive plays, which I don't think is a good thing for the Raiders. Guys, the last time John Gruden called plays was in the 1900s. Deontay Johnson or Robbie and that might not be true, but I think it has some merit to it. Deontay Johnson or Keenan Allen? I would go Deontay Johnson. And there's a lot of hate on the web right now about Deontay Johnson. I'm seeing a lot of Deontay Johnson hate because he's leading the NFL in drops. But guys, he's leading the NFL in drops. That is the most useless statistic in the NFL. It's the least sticky, least correlated from week to week stat in the NFL. Drops is a completely nonsense stat. He's an NFL wide receiver. Remember when we were talking about this with Nelson Agholor? Look where he is now. Nelson Agholor has been great this season. He's actually number 9 in the NFL in yards per reception. He's top 15 in touchdown rate. I mean, he's been very efficient this season. Deontay Johnson is going to be just fine, and I still think he's the number 1 wide receiver on the Pittsburgh Steelers. Guys, we don't need emojis for Sam to see the questions. He'll get to your questions. That is absolutely a good point. And again, if you're watching live on YouTube, hit that like button. I'm going to try to get to every single one of your questions, especially as we get closer to game time. If you're watching live on TikTok right now and you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel yet, don't know what you're waiting for. You're missing out. And we're also live on YouTube right now. The chat in YouTube is a little less spammy, which is nice. Cup or Mike Davis. Guys, you got to fire up every single person on the Los Angeles Rams football team this week because they're going up against a Jets team that is just absolutely defeated. I mean, it's one of the worst teams in the history of the NFL. Their point differential this season is over -200, under -210. -210. Think about what it must feel like to be a part of that football team. You have lost by over 210 points combined on the season. That is the worst point differential at this point of the season in over the last decade. That's how bad this Jets team is. And so you got to fire up Cooper Kupp and Robert Woods and Cam Akers with confidence, along with Jared Goff. He's a good sleeper this week. I'd be playing Herbert over Brady. Herbert is in a fantastic spot. Brady's in a good spot this week too, but to me, Brady is even riskier than Justin Herbert. Guys, Justin Herbert's up against a Raiders team that is arguably a bottom 5 defense in the NFL right now. They've allowed over 200 rushing yards in back-to-back games, and their secondary is on their 4th, 5th, and 6th string defensive backs. I mean, he's going to feast tonight. Justin Herbert's going to do fantastic tonight. Hey, man, Tyron Johnson or Chenault? Zach, that's a close one, man. I would probably lean towards Chenault with the news that both Keenan Allen and Mike Williams are playing. It's tough. I think that when it comes to Tyron Johnson, you were hoping Mike Williams wasn't going to play, but he is playing at some capacity tonight. So it just adds way too much risk to him to be able to trust him in your starting lineup. Brady or Herbert? I'm going Herbert. Again, here's the only quarterbacks this week I'm starting over Justin Herbert. It's Josh Allen. It's Kyler Murray. It's Lamar Jackson. It's Aaron Rodgers, and it's Patrick Mahomes. Those are the only 5. Other than those 5, I'm starting Justin Herbert, guys. Again, the only 5 quarterbacks I'm starting over Justin Herbert are Kyler Murray, Lamar Jackson, Aaron Rodgers, Patrick Mahomes, and Josh Allen. That's it. End of list. You got to start Josh Allen if you're not starting one of those guys. Thoughts on Keenan Allen? Yeah, guys, Keenan Allen, he has an added layer of risk tonight. I think you got to consider starting him still because he is Keenan Allen, because he's been one of the best wide receivers in fantasy football this season, but he has an added layer of risk where he's apparently, according to Adam Schefter, playing on some sort of rep count, whatever that means. You got to figure out in your own mind, what is that rep count going to look like? Because if it's 50%, then you can't start him. It really comes down to who you're starting him over, because if you have a good wide receiver too as a secondary option, I think you got to roll with them. A guy like Ayuk, for example. Thoughts on Fournette with no Ronald Jones? I don't love him. He was a healthy scratch last week. I think Shady McCoy is going to be involved. Jacobs or Swift? I would lean towards Josh Jacobs. It's looking likely that Matthew Stafford's going to be out this week, and that could mean literally that puts the 0 points within the range of outcomes for the Detroit Lions this week, which really lowers the ceiling for DeAndre Swift, who is still a pretty good option, don't get me wrong, but I like Josh Jacobs more, especially, again, this game has a 51.5 over-under. The Raiders are 3.5-point favorites. I think it actually might have moved down to 3 based on what I'm seeing on my screen right now, but I do like Josh Jacobs a lot. John Gruden is calling the plays tonight. That's also great news for Josh Jacobs. John Gruden wants to pound the ball. He really does want to run. This chat is crazy. Yeah, the YouTube chat's going off the hook right now, guys. If you're watching live on TikTok, the YouTube chat is a little less spammy, which is nice. Do you start Godwin? Yeah, I do think you can start Godwin. Of course, it depends who you're starting him over. I would start him over Keenan Allen. I don't think I would start him over T.Y. Hilton, though. T.Y. Hilton, guys, he is the Houston Texans' father. He owns the Houston Texans. He's always dominated them, just like he did just 2 weeks ago. He's one of the hottest receivers in the NFL right now. T.Y. Hilton is on the must-start list this week. Non-start sit question. How far do you think the Packers will end up going this season? I think they're going to make it all the way to the Super Bowl. I think it's going to be them versus the Chiefs. It's the game everyone deserves to see, man. I hope it happens. Sub 143, Grant, an OG subscriber, man. How's it going? Kittle is worth picking up. He's not worth playing this week, though. He's probably not going to play, but he is worth picking up if you're in the playoffs because he could be back next week. There's a outside shot he's back this week. Wilson or Goff? I would lean towards Goff. I mean, Goff is in a fantastic spot against the Jets. He's going to do very well. Akers, Ayuk, or Thielen? I would probably rank those guys in that order. In terms of safety, guys, you can't get much safer than Cam Akers, who's seen 25 touches, averaging 25 touches over the last couple of games. He's a stud alpha wide receiver 1. I'd be going Ayuk over Cup. Again, if you're watching live on YouTube, guys, hit that like button. Takes you 2 seconds, helps me out way more than you realize. Hit that like button. Also, hit that subscribe button. If you're not subscribed yet, we're posting some longer form content helping you dominate your fantasy football leagues. We're going to be talking about fantasy basketball coming up soon as well. Looking forward to that. We're going to be helping us cash in on DraftKings, FanDuel, playing some DFS. Cam Akers or Jonathan Taylor. I would still lean Cam Akers in that situation, but both of them you probably want to get into your starting lineup. Alexi, how's it going, man? 3 weeks left in your survivor pool. Who are we going with this week, Sam? Alexi, can you list some of the teams you can pick from? Because if you're still left in your survivor pool, first of all, great job. Second of all, if you can pick against the Jets, you got to go pick against the Jets. I mean, the Rams are the obvious pick. I have a chance. Keenan Allen is playing. Yes, Keenan Allen is playing. He has an added layer of risk, though, because it's not very clear exactly how much he's going to play. But let me read you how bad this Raiders defense is looking tonight. Missing from their defense, top interior defensive lineman Malik Collins, starting edge rusher Khalil Farrell, top linebacker Nicholas Morrow. We're just getting started, guys. Starting cornerback Damon Arnett. Arnett's backup is also out at cornerback, Nevin Wilson. And their best defensive player on that side of the ball, Jonathan Abram, also out. And then their number 3 safety, Jeff Heath, also out. I just listed over half their starting defenders, guys. Yet the Chargers are still 3.5-point underdogs in this game. I mean, I don't really understand it. This Raiders defense is going to get absolutely obliterated tonight, guys. It's going to be ugly on the defensive side of the ball for the Raiders. Justin Herbert's going to feast. Austin Eckler is going to feast. This defense, guys, has allowed over 200 rushing yards in back-to-back games. One of those games was against the New York Jets. The New York Jets, of all teams, rushed for over 200 yards against this team. So I do like the Chargers in this game. I do think that the Justin Herbert's offense is going to cook. Yes, we have identified one exploitable player prop pick tonight. I'm on it big time. You can get access to it completely free in the WalterPicks app on the iOS App Store. If you start your 3-day free trial, no money up front. You just start the trial, decide if it's for you. You'll get access to the prop pick tonight. So go to the WalterPicks app in the iOS App Store. We only have one pick tonight, so there's no free prop pick tonight. Aguilar or Claypool? I do like Aguilar. Claypool, guys, has started to lose some reps. He started to lose some reps to James Washington, so I do like Claypool as a player, but I like Aguilar more in fantasy tonight, especially, again, this game is a 51.5 over-under, so there's going to be some players that score a lot of points tonight. Do I start Keenan Allen? This is the question of the night, and I just listed off all of the injuries for the Raiders. They're without over half their starting defense tonight. The Chargers are going to be able to cook. And so you can strongly consider playing Keenan Allen still, despite the injury and despite him being on limited reps, according to Adam Schefter, whatever that means. But I do think he has an added layer of risk. So depending on who your backup option is, I'm okay benching Keenan Allen. If that's a guy like Brandon Ayuk, if that's a guy like Deontay Johnson or Chris Godwin, if that's a guy like that you think is still a wide receiver too, I'm okay starting them over Keenan Allen. But again, this is a judgment call for you. It's the fantasy playoffs. My biggest piece of advice in the fantasy football playoffs and this is coming from a math guy. Look at the hat. My biggest piece of advice in the fantasy playoffs is to trust your gut and not overthink sitting your studs. So that leans towards starting Keenan Allen. Do you think Herbert over 1.5 passing TDs? Yes, 100%. I believe that's going to happen. I don't think that's the line that I saw. I think he's going for at least two touchdowns tonight. Justin Herbert, to me, is going to have a fantastic game. All right, Alexi, good news. Yeah, that does look like good news. I still got the Chiefs, the Packers, the Ravens, and the Steelers. Wow. The Chiefs are only 3-point favorites this week. So I think that the Packers are probably your best bet. Who are the Ravens? Let's see. The Packers are... Yeah, I would probably go with the Packers. I would be surprised if the Packers lost to the Panthers. They're 9-point favorites in that game. Hunter Renfrow or Balaj? I'd probably lean Renfrow, but again, this Raiders defense has allowed over 200 rushing yards in back-to-back games, and it's not going to shock me if this is their third straight, because one of those games came against the New York Jets, the worst team in the NFL, one of the worst teams in the history of the NFL. They've had the worst point differential that we've seen in over a decade at this point of the season. The Jets have lost by over a combined 200 points so far this season. Absolutely abysmal. That Jets team ran for over 200 yards against this Raiders team, and that Raiders defense was actually healthier than they are tonight. Again, this Raiders defense, which is a 3.5-point favorite somehow against this Chargers team, they are without their top interior defensive lineman, Malik Collins, their best edge rusher, Khalil Farrell, their top linebacker, Nicholas Morrow, their starting cornerback, Damon Arnett, and their second best cornerback, Nevin Lawson. They're also without their best overall defender, Jonathan Abram, who's their safety. And then they're also out another backup safety in Jeff Heath. I mean, they got injuries at every level of this defense, and they're going to be exploited because of that. Allen, Jeff Wilson, or Gallman. I would go Keenan Allen over those two options. Like Kevin, that's where we draw the line. You got to go Keenan Allen over those two guys. Deontay Johnson or Robbie Anderson. I would go Robbie Anderson over Deontay Johnson. Lamar or Kyler. App said Lamar. Yeah, I say Lamar as well. Lamar is a league-winning quarterback. He's proven it over the last 2 weeks, and you got to do that. Andrew Young, hit that like button. I appreciate that, man. Pick 2, Jarvis, Corey Davis, Deontay, T.Y. Hilton, and David Montgomery. I would probably be going with T.Y. Hilton and Corey Davis, or T.Y. Hilton and David Montgomery. I think it's between those 3 options. Keenan or T.Y. I would lean towards T.Y. Hilton, because T.Y. Hilton owns the Houston Texans, guys. He is the Houston Texans' father. He has never had a bad game against the Houston Texans. Go back and look at T.Y. Hilton's history against this Houston Texans team, and you will be convinced to be starting T.Y. Hilton. Hunt or Jeff Wilson? I would probably go Hunt there. Hunt has looked good when he's on the field. Taysom Hurts or Rivers? I would probably go Taysom Hill. Against the Chiefs, that game has shootout potential, so I do like Taysom Hill. Justin Jackson, healthy scratch. Yes, Dustin, I saw that coming, because Kalen Balazs has taken a stronghold on that running back 2 in this offense, and they clearly think that Austin Eckler is also their clear running back 1. So I do think that Justin Jackson report wasn't all that surprising, given how we've seen their running back touches shake out. T.Y. Hopkins and Ayuk. I have Allen and Godwin on bench. No, I think that's perfect, Johnny. That's exactly what I would be doing. Akers or Ridley? Again, Cam Akers has too high of a floor to bench this week, guys. He's up against a Jets team where he is a 14.5-point favorite in that game. Over 2 touchdowns. They're expecting the Rams to win by, which, again, probably going to happen against this horrible Jets team. So, yeah, Cam Akers has to be in your starting lineup, averaging 25 touches per game over the last couple of games. He's looked like a stud. And if you're watching live on YouTube, guys, hit that like button. Let's get to 100 likes. That would be super exciting. I would love to get to 100 likes. Hit that like button. It takes 2 seconds. If you're watching live on TikTok and you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel yet, not really sure what you're waiting for, because we've been having a lot of fun on YouTube, posting weekly content for fantasy football. We're going to be talking about basketball, DraftKings, FanDuel, player props, whatever you want, you can go find it on YouTube. Talk about Keenan Allen. Yes, Keenan Allen is the talk of the night, because it was looking like he was trending towards not playing. Now it looks like Keenan Allen and Mike Williams are confirmed playing, though it also looks like they're going to be on some sort of a snap count. And what that snap count looks like has not been confirmed. And so there is risk with Keenan Allen. Mike Williams is way too risky. You can't be playing him. But Keenan Allen definitely has an added layer of risk given his injury concern. So my overall advice would be to bench him if you have a good enough option behind him. To me, I draw the line at T.Y. Hilton. Like, if you got a player better than T.Y. Hilton, or T.Y. Hilton himself, I would start him over Keenan Allen. But if it's below that level, then you still got to just go out there and trust Keenan Allen. Talk about George Kittle. Yeah, guys, George Kittle is not human. He is not of the human species. I don't know what he is, but it's not of the humankind, because he got a 8-week injury and he's back 3 weeks later. He literally said when he got the injury, yeah, I'll be back in 3 weeks. He knew that he wasn't human. He knows. Someone's got to quiz him on this, because I need to know what species George Kittle is, because I'm telling you, it's not human. And I think he could literally be back this week. It's not going to be that surprising to me. And I think he has a very good shot to be back next week. DJ Moore over Keenan Allen. Yeah, DJ Moore to me is startable over Keenan Allen. Herbert or Lamar. These are the only quarterbacks I'm starting over Justin Herbert. The only quarterbacks. I think Justin Herbert's going to absolutely cook tonight. I think Justin Herbert's going to solidify himself as the offensive rookie of the year tonight and solidify himself as the best rookie quarterback of all time, because that's what he's been on pace to do this season, everyone. He's on pace to be the best rookie quarterback of all time, the best rookie season that we've ever seen in the NFL. Very cool. And I think he's going to solidify tonight against a very, very injured Raiders defense. And these are the only quarterbacks I'd be starting over Justin Herbert this week. Lamar Jackson, Kyler Murray, Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, and I think I'm missing one. Aaron Rodgers. There it is. Aaron Rodgers, Josh Allen, Kyler Murray, Lamar Jackson, Patrick Mahomes. Those are the only 5 quarterbacks I'm starting over Justin Herbert. Thielen or Jacobs? I would probably lean towards Josh Jacobs over Thielen. Lockett or Allen? I'd go Lockett. Waiver flex to pick up. Yeah, go add Jeff Wilson Jr. There's a chance that Raheem Mostert cannot go this week. Sanders, Hilton, or Akers? I would lean towards Akers. Again, I think he's a must-start option. Eckler, Akers, and Jacobs. I have Monty and Sanders on my bench. No, I think that's the perfect lineup. Is Eckler a good start? Eckler is a top 12 running back option in fantasy football, guys. He's seeing the most targets at the running back position in the NFL right now. He can't be on your bench, especially in PPR leagues, especially against this Raiders defense that has allowed over 200 rushing yards in back-to-back games. One of those games against the New York Jets. This defense is suffering all sorts of injuries. Mahomes or Lamar? There's only one quarterback really I would start over Lamar Jackson, and that is Patrick Mahomes. You can never bench Patrick Mahomes. I don't know how you have both of them. Woods or Sanders? I would lean towards Woods over Sanders, but you have to take my Sanders takes with a grain of salt because I have been wrong about Sanders every single week. First touchdown scorer. Yes, these are not good bets to be making, but they're fun ones. And so I do dabble in the first touchdown scorer here and there. And to me, the best odds for first touchdown scorer tonight are either Austin Eckler or Kalen Balazs. The odds on Kalen Balazs are very good, but I do think that the weakness, the big-time weakness of this Raiders team is their rushing defense. They've allowed over 200 rushing yards in back-to-back games, and so I see either Austin Eckler or Kalen Balazs scoring the first touchdown tonight. I think a $40 bet on Kalen Balazs to score the first touchdown rewards you over $1,000. So pretty good odds if that were to happen. I have to play 2 of these 3, Zeke, Hunt, and Dobbins. You got to bench Zeke, guys. Guys, Ezekiel Elliott is must-bench territory. I mean, it's brutal watching him out there. I don't know if you saw the video I posted on TikTok today, but Ezekiel Elliott leads the NFL in carries inside the 5. He has a combined 2 rushing yards inside the 5-yard line on 23 carries. That's insane. Absolutely insane. It's brutal. And the offensive line hasn't helped. Dak's injury has not helped, but it's definitely tough to see. And Matt, good to see you, man. What are you thinking tonight? I see that you're in the semifinals, which is always great to see. Jacobs, Swift, or Akers? I would lean towards Jacobs and Akers. Again, DeAndre Swift and that whole Lions offense has a lot of risk. They have a lot of risk given that Matthew Stafford's looking to be out. And guys, we're 9 likes away from 100 likes on YouTube. Who's going to be our 100th like? Really would appreciate it if you helped us out. Mike Davis or J.K. Dobbins? I would lean towards Mike Davis. Terry or Aaron Jones? I'm doing well, man. Thanks for asking. And I would go Aaron Jones still, and I know he's been brutal for you. Yeah, I'm okay starting Aguilar over Zeke at this point. Hunter Henry or Tonyan? I would lean towards Hunter Henry over Tonyan, but they're both fantastic options. Tonyan has some of the highest touchdown upside in the NFL, but again, this Raiders defense is going to allow a lot of points tonight. James Robinson or Cam Akers? You have to start Cam Akers. And we hit 100 likes on YouTube. Let's go. Let's see if we can hit 200 in the next 30 minutes. That would be exciting. First, though, we got to get to 125. JK, great channel. I'm subscribed already. Thanks, Jeff. I appreciate that. Top 3 tight ends. Yeah, the top 3 tight ends are very, very clear. Number 1 is Travis Kelce. Number 2 is Darren Waller. And number 3 is Mark Andrews. And, of course, that changes once George Kittle is back healthy. Because, again, like I said, he's not of the human species. He's of some other species that we have not discovered yet. But George Kittle is up there with Travis Kelce once he returns. especially with Deebo Samuel injured. Keenan Allen is the story of the night. The info on Keenan Allen was this. He suffered an injury that he was looking doubtful this morning. And then as of about 30 minutes ago, he's looking like he's going to be on a snap count tonight. But I understand being in a full breakout sweat, thinking about should you start Keenan Allen or not. To me, the much bigger risk in this game is Mike Williams versus Tyron Johnson. But I do think that Keenan Allen, if you have a good enough backup option, can be benched. But if you don't have a wide receiver 2 to replace Keenan Allen with, I think you got to still trust Keenan Allen in this game against an extremely injured Raiders defense. Would you start Guyton or Johnson? Definitely, if you're starting one of them, it's Tyron Johnson, who's going to benefit the most from the Mike Williams injury. But I really wasn't expecting Mike Williams to be active, and it makes Tyron Johnson a lot less likable. Keenan Allen or Cam Akers? I would go Cam Akers 100%. AJ Brown or Mostert? If he plays, it's for sure AJ Brown, even if Mostert plays. MT, Crowder, or Lockett? Guys, Crowder, and it pains me to say this, but Jamison Elite Crowder is no longer trustworthy in fantasy football. That whole Jets team can't be trusted. Honestly, to me, the most exciting piece of that Jets offense right now is Denzel Mims. I would definitely be benching Crowder in that situation. Would you start Corey Davis or T.Y. Hilton? I think you got to start T.Y. Hilton this week, guys. Good job picking him up because he probably went to your waiver wire at some point in the season. But T.Y. Hilton's been one of the hottest wide receivers in the NFL over the last month, and he's up against the Houston Texans team that he just dominated a couple weeks ago, that he's really dominated his entire career. So I like T.Y. Hilton a lot this week. I think he's a solid wide receiver 2 option. What receivers will do the best this week? Love the content, by the way. Thanks, man. I appreciate that. Yeah, there's a lot of receivers to like, and I don't think you can go wrong with my top wide receiver of the week, which is DeAndre Hopkins, who a lot of people were worried about him up against this Giants team a couple of weeks. This past week, he did just fine. I think he's going to lead this receiver, all receivers in receiving yards this week. Keenan Aguilar or Curtis Samuel? I would lean towards Keenan Allen over those two guys. Lockett is a guy that I'm okay starting over Keenan Allen. But again, do you think Keenan Allen's going to be on a snap count? How bad of a snap count do you think that's going to be? T.Y. Hilton, Mike Evans, or Josh Jacobs this week? I would lean towards Josh Jacobs over both of them. Again, John Gruden is calling the offensive plays for the Raiders tonight. That matters. It does have implications. And it is good news. It is good news for Josh Jacobs because John Gruden wants to pound the ball, and that is exactly what he's going to do tonight with Josh Jacobs. Brady or Watson? I would go Tom Brady. T.Y. or Keenan Allen? I would go T.Y. Hilton. Again, I'm taking the line for me with benching Keenan Allen is at T.Y. Hilton. So I'm starting T.Y. Hilton over Keenan Allen given the injury risk. Swift or Dobbins? I would probably go Swift. Why is the Vegas having the Raiders as the favorite? Raul, I have the same question as you. They're 3.5-point favorites in this game. And now I guess the line has moved all the way to 3. But I mean, the Chargers, to me, this should be an even spread because the Chargers are up against a Raiders team that has allowed over 200 rushing yards in back-to-back games. And they are without all sorts of players on the defensive side of the ball. So I do like the Chargers money line and +3 tonight as a pretty good value bet. I don't bet on spreads, but if I were, I would be liking this one a decent amount. So I like the Chargers given the line on this game. The reason that they're favorites though is because the Raiders are still in playoff contention, and this is a must-win game for them. So that is why they're favorites. And don't get me wrong here, the Raiders have actually had a pretty efficient offense this season, so that's why they're favorites. But to me, the Chargers have too good of an offense to be stopped by a very, very injured Raiders defense. Mike Williams or Nelson Aguilar? I would definitely go Nelson Aguilar in this game. Guys, Mike Williams, you can't trust him at all. Given his injury and his injury history, you can't trust him. You can't be benching Metcalf as much as I love Ayuk, by the way. Metcalf's the guy I'd be starting over Ayuk. Keenan or McLaren? I would probably go McLaren. When you say that your line to starting Keenan Allen is T.Y. Hilton, would that mean Jarvis Landry is a start over Keenan Allen? Yes, I would start Jarvis Landry over Keenan. again, he has an increased layer of risk. And obviously you're starting Keenan Allen over Jarvis Landry in most other situations if there is no injury. But given the injury risk, personally, I would be starting Jarvis Landry over him. Josh Allen, Taysom Hill, Kyler Murray, I'd go Josh Allen. And if you have Justin Herbert, guys, you want to be starting Justin Herbert tonight, who's going to go over 300 yards and 2 touchdowns tonight, in my opinion. I think he's going to solidify himself as the offensive rookie of the year tonight. He's going to solidify himself as having the best rookie quarterback season of all time. He's going to break the record for the most 300-plus yard passing games. He's going to break the touchdown record tonight. I think he's going to break all sorts of records tonight, and he's going to solidify himself in the history of the NFL. And I think that is good news for Keenan Allen if he's out there for over 50% of the snaps. I think it's good news for Austin Eckler and Hunter Henry as well. Do you keep A.J. Brown, Jonathan Taylor, or Austin Eckler for next year? I do have Cook, though. Oh, man, Sean, your team is absolutely stacked, man. And that is going to be a really tough decision, Sean, and I think you should wait to make that decision as long as you possibly can. But I would probably be leaning towards Cook. I mean, Dalvin Cook is the best option out of all of those guys. Then I'd probably honestly lean towards Austin Eckler or Jonathan Taylor just because running backs are a little bit harder to find than wide receivers. But man, it's going to be tough letting go of A.J. Brown. Thoughts on Ayuk over Keenan Allen? Yes, I would definitely be playing Ayuk over Keenan Allen, guys. Ayuk has gone over 70 receiving yards for 4 consecutive weeks. Deebo Samuel now looking out with an injury. Ayuk is a wide receiver 2 with wide receiver 1 upside. He's an absolute baller. He's top 5 in the NFL in air yards over the last month as well. I mean, there's a lot to like in the stats for Brandon Ayuk and on the tape. Should I be worried about Russ versus Washington this week? Start Hurts over him. No, I wouldn't start Hurts over him, but yeah, you can be a little bit worried. What do you think about Austin Eckler? Over under 47.5 receiving yards. Charlie, I love Austin Eckler. I do not hate it. Though we haven't identified one exploitable player prop pick tonight, which you can get access to for completely free in the WalterPicks app on the iOS App Store. Just start your 3-day free trial, completely free to download. And then this is what I would do. I would go start my 3-day free trial. I'd get access to the exploitable player prop pick. I'd then bet on that pick and then use the money that you just won from that exploitable player prop pick to go pay for your premium subscription, which you haven't even been charged for yet because you get a 3-day free trial. That's how I would game the system. Carson or Mike Davis? I would definitely go with Mike Davis over Chris Carson. This week, to me, Mike Davis is a pretty safe running back too. Aaron Jones or Jonathan Taylor? At this point, it's got to be Jonathan Taylor over Aaron Jones. And man, did I not think I would be saying that a month ago, but that's the situation we're in. Yes, Austin Eckler, Brody, 100% is going over 10 fantasy points. He's probably going to go over 20. Austin Eckler, one of the most efficient running backs in the NFL. Would you be starting Justin Herbert over Lamar Jackson? No, Ronald, you can't do that. You can't do it. Lamar Jackson's just too on fire right now and has too much rushing upside the bench. These are the only quarterbacks I would be playing over Justin Herbert. Lamar Jackson, Patrick Mahomes, Kyler Murray, Aaron Rodgers, and Josh Allen. The only 5 quarterbacks I'm starting over Justin Herbert this week. Again, Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Aaron Rodgers, and Kyler Murray. The only quarterbacks you should be starting over Justin Herbert. Otherwise, fire up Justin Herbert with confidence, man. That kid's a stud. I think he's going to solidify himself as having the best rookie quarterback season of all time tonight. Goddard or Tonyan? I would definitely go Tonyan over Goddard. With Jalen Hurts, there's really no one you can trust in that passing offense. Is Keenan reliable? Jack, this is the question that everybody wants to know. And I do think that Keenan Allen, at some level, can be trusted. I think he's going to play over 50% of the snaps still, and against a very injured Raiders defense without their top 2 cornerbacks, without their best safety, without their best defensive lineman, without their best edge rusher. Yes, all of those are injuries for the Raiders tonight. So I do think Keenan Allen's probably still going to score a touchdown and do pretty well, but you have to acknowledge he has increased risk given the injury that he's dealing with. Seahawks defense or Steelers defense? I would lean towards Seahawks defense. Should I start Keenan Allen? King, this is the question everybody wants to know. For me, I'm starting guys like T.Y. Hilton over Keenan Allen, but I do still think Keenan Allen can be started depending on how much of a snap count you think he's going to be on. If you think it's anything above 50%, you should probably be starting him. Any picks for the Thursday night football slate tonight? Yes, man. I think you have to have Justin Herbert in your captain slot for tonight if you're playing on the showdown on FanDuel or on DraftKings. To me, he just has so much more upside than everyone else. But I also think you should fit in Josh Jacobs, because with John Gruden calling the offensive snaps tonight, that's happening for the first time this season. He's going to lean heavily on Josh Jacobs. John Gruden likes to take it back to the 1900s where all they did was run the ball. And that's, I think, what their Raiders game plan is going to be tonight, especially without their stud rookie receiver, Henry Ruggs, who has not been as good as people were expecting, but he has helped stretch the field. Yes, King Henry's going to go over 30 points again. I mean, we called this really like 2.5 months ago that Derrick Henry was going to win fantasy football leagues. I hope as many of you traded for him as you possibly could, because his playoff schedule was just absolutely ridiculous. Hunter Henry or Noah Fant, full PPR. I would lean towards Hunter Henry there. Thoughts on Darren Waller? Yeah, Darren Waller's in the solid tier 2 of tight ends. We saw his upside a few weeks ago. He had the 6th best tight end game of all time just a couple weeks ago. Do you think I should be against the Jets? Do you think I should be starting Amari Cooper or Mike Evans? I would go Mike Evans against Atlanta. Sam, I got the 3-day free trial. You go to settings and tap on your name. That's all you got to do on your iPhone. But I hope you consider keeping subscribed. We do have more exploitable player prop picks and DFS advice coming out soon. And again, this is how I would game the system with the WalterPicks app in the iOS App Store. Is we got an exploitable player prop pick tonight. I'm very, very confident in it. So go download the WalterPicks app completely free. Go start your 3-day free trial completely risk-free. And then you get access to the player prop. Then bet on that prop and you'll pay for your membership. It's only $5 a month. So go bet $50 on the prop and you just paid for a year-long subscription to the WalterPicks app. It's too easy, man. It's really too easy. Herbert or Lamar? I would definitely go Lamar Jackson. And again, here's the only 5 quarterbacks I'm starting over Justin Herbert. It is Lamar Jackson. It is Patrick Mahomes, Kyler Murray, Josh Allen, and Aaron Rodgers. That is it. End of list. That's the only guys I'm starting over Justin Herbert. But all of those guys should be started over Justin Herbert. The one you could really make an argument for is Kyler Murray, because he has been held back a little bit by injury, but I think that injury is completely gone now. And if you're watching live on YouTube, guys, hit that like button. Let's see if we can get to 125 likes. Who's going to be our 125th like? Really do appreciate it. If you're watching live on TikTok and you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel yet, not really sure what you are waiting for, you definitely got to go subscribe to our YouTube channel. We're posting weekly content over there, some longer form content for you all. Ayuk or Hilton? I'd go Ayuk. I like both of them a lot this week. But Ayuk has been an absolute stud. Wide receiver 2 with wide receiver 1 upside. I think that he's in a great spot against the Cowboys defense this week as well. TYMT or Fournette? I would go Michael Thomas. Michael Thomas, to me, almost has to be in your starting lineup at this point with how much he's getting targeted from Taysom Hill. I'd go Hunter Henry over Logan Thomas. Again, guys, the injuries for this Raiders team are absolutely astronomical. And that's why I don't really understand how they're still three-point favorites in this game. The Las Vegas Raiders, who, by the way, have in back-to-back games allowed over 200 rushing yards. This is who they're without tonight. Their top interior defensive lineman, Malik Collins. Their starting edge rusher, Khalil Farrell. Their top linebacker, Nicholas Morrow. Their starting cornerback, Damon Arnett. Their second best cornerback, Nevin Lawson, and then their best overall defender, safety Jonathan Abram, and then another backup safety is out, Jeff Heath. They have holes. Every single piece of this defense has a hole, and I think that that's going to bode very well for this whole Chargers offense. I think they're going to cover the 3 points. I do think that they're going to do very well tonight. Please answer Ayuk over JJ or Keenan. Yes, I'd play Ayuk over Keenan Allen. Is Kittle playing? Dawson, we've confirmed that George Kittle is not of the human species. We've not yet confirmed what species exactly he is. I'm still waiting for a response from George Kittle on that one, but he has a chance to play tonight. I'm not tonight, this week. He has a chance to play. I'd say most likely he's not going to play till week 16, but the fact that he's even practicing already he got an injury that has an 8-week diagnosis. And when he got the injury, he said, yeah, I'll be back in 3 weeks. And he was right. He was right. The health staff was wrong. The medical staff was wrong. George Kittle knew that his body heals faster because he knows he's not of the human species. Is King Henry going over 30 points? Yeah, of course he is. Mike Davis or Keenan Allen? I would probably lean towards Keenan Allen over Mike Davis. That's where I would draw the line. I've cooked for my one round, but for second keeper, Jonathan Eckler or AJ Brown? Oh, AJ Brown's round 6. Honestly, I'd probably take Eckler at round 4 there. Flex options to put over Keenan Allen. Yeah, it's Ayuk, it's T.Y. Hilton. Those are two guys that I'd be starting over Keenan Allen. What's up, man? Do you think I should start Mike Davis? Yeah, Mike Davis is a solid running back too this week, guys. He's been seeing very consistent volume with Christian McCaffrey out. Guys, we're 1 like away on YouTube from 125 likes. Who's going to be 125th like? Really would appreciate that. Why will the Raiders run the ball with Gruden? The reason, Jonah, is that John Gruden likes to take it back to the 1900s. He likes to establish the run. That is John Gruden's philosophy. And so I do think they're going to run more with John Gruden calling the snaps if they can get a lead. Hey, Sam, Ayuk or Woods this week? I would go Ayuk. I like both of them a lot, though. Jeff Wilson or Keenan Allen? I'd still go Keenan Allen over Jeff Wilson. Andrew Early is late. Allen, JT, or JK? I would probably go Keenan Allen over J.K. Dobbins. Jacobs or Monty? I like Josh Jacobs a little bit more than David Montgomery. Again, I think Josh Jacobs is a back-end running back one this week. Why Jamison, Elite Crowder, Adam Gase? I know Jamison, Elite Crowder has been absolutely ruined by Adam Gase. It's one of the many things that Adam Gase has ruined. Alex C., how's it going, my man? Corey Davis or DJ Moore? I would lean towards Corey Davis. He's only had 2 weeks under 10 fantasy points. Those are the 2 weeks people draw the most attention to. But what about all these other weeks that Corey Davis has gone over 10 fantasy points? He's actually been one of the most consistent fantasy football wide receivers this season. Carr or Taysom? I would go Taysom. Keenan Allen or QT? I would go Keenan Allen. Again, I'm drawing the line for Keenan Allen at T.Y. Hilton. I'm starting T.Y. Hilton and Brandon Ayuk over Keenan Allen, but anyone worse than that, I'm not starting over Keenan Allen, even with the added injury risk that he has in this game. Jalen Hurts, Kirk Cousins, or Matt Ryan? I would probably lean towards Kirk Cousins, but it's close. All those guys are in a similar tier for me. We got 15 minutes left, guys. Let's see if we can get to 150 likes. Hit that like button on YouTube. If you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel yet, don't know what you're waiting for, go hit that subscribe button. We passed 2,000 YouTube subscribers in under a month because we're having a lot of fun on YouTube. We're posting weekly content on here as well. Again, here's the only quarterbacks I'm starting over Justin Herbert. The only ones. I've seen a lot of questions about Justin Herbert. The only quarterbacks you should be starting over Justin Herbert are Aaron Rodgers, Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, and Lamar Jackson. Those 4 guys, 1,000%, you got to start over Justin Herbert. The 5th guy that I think you should start over Justin Herbert, to me is much closer, is Kyler Murray. After that, Justin Herbert's going to cook tonight, guys. There's so many injuries for the Raiders. Ben, thoughts on Brady and AB over Taysom Hill and Kiki this week? Yeah, I would definitely go Brady and AB. Planning on going with Brady and AB because that's what Walter says. Yeah, I'd agree. I think that they're going to do very well against this Falcons defense, especially with Ronald Jones out. I think that even further incentivizes the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to throw the ball even more. Justin Jefferson or Ayuk? Oh, 2 stud rookie wide receivers. Good job getting some stud wide receivers in their rookie season in your lineup. I would probably lean towards Justin Jefferson over Ayuk. Johnson on Monday or Aguilar tonight? I would go Deontay Johnson. T.Y. Hilton or McLaren? At this point, it's Hilton, and it's sad to say. What do you think about McLaren over Deontay Johnson? Yeah, both those guys struggling a little bit lately, but I would personally go with Deontay Johnson over Terry McLaren. His quarterback situation is just brutal. It's tough to see. Chris Carson or Cam Akers? Cam Akers is a must start for me. I don't care who you got to play him over, but Cam Akers, guys, he's seeing 25 touches back-to-back week, average 25 touches in back-to-back weeks. He is a over 2 touchdown favorite against the New York Jets. I mean, there's too much to like about Cam Akers to not play him. And the one strength of the Jets team has been their running defense, but it doesn't matter. If you're a two touchdown favorite, you're seeing 25 touches per game, you have to start that player. I mean, Cam Akers is a running back 1, league-winning running back. I'd play him as anyone who you got to play him over. You got to find the spot in your lineup for Cam Akers. I don't care who it's over. Keenan or Evans? Mike Evans, I'm willing to start over Keenan Allen. Again, Keenan Allen has increased risk with his injury, so I'm okay starting a guy like Mike Evans, who has just as much upside as Keenan Allen against Falcons especially. And guys, we're almost at 150 likes. Who's going to be our 150th like on YouTube? Hit that like button if you haven't hit like yet. Hit that subscribe button too if you haven't subscribed to us on YouTube. We're live on TikTok and YouTube right now. Going to try to get to as many questions as I can before we wrap up tonight. Wilson or Carr? For me, it's definitely Russell Wilson. With CMC out, I have Zeke, Jamal Williams, Chase Edmonds, who, by the way, Chase Edmonds might also be out. Lynn Bowden was looking like a good sleeper pick until now somehow all the Dolphins players are healed and looking like they're going to play. So I think you got to start Zeke. And Jamal Williams is also a pretty intriguing option, Michael. I think I'd go with those two guys. Go see if Jeff Wilson is available too. Kenyon Drake or James Robinson. I would lean towards James Robinson. T.Y. Hilton or Nelson Aguilar. I'd go Hilton. T.Y. Hilton's been one of the hottest wide receivers in fantasy football over the last month, and he owns the Houston Texans. Historically, he is their father. I mean, he's really not had a bad game against the Houston Texans in his whole career. How do you feel about starting Ridley with Julio Jones back? Ronald, Julio Jones being back elevates every single player in the Falcons offense. It helps Calvin Ridley. It helps him more than it hurts him. So I'm still very confident about Calvin Ridley, even with Julio Jones back. Jacobs, Akers, or Davis. I would rank those guys as Akers number 1, Jacobs number 2, Mike Davis number 3. I think all three of those guys are pretty good options, though, but that's how I would rank them. And again, I'm seeing a lot of questions about Justin Herbert. These are the quarterbacks I'm starting over Justin Herbert. Josh Allen, Aaron Rodgers, Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson. Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, Aaron Rodgers, and Lamar Jackson. You got to start all those guys over Justin Herbert. Kyler Murray also in the conversation to be started over Justin Herbert. Other than that, though, you got to start Justin Herbert. But yeah, you can't be benching Lamar Jackson. You can't be benching Patrick Mahomes, regardless of who he's playing, and you can't be benching Josh Allen at this point either. What about Tyron Johnson now? Yeah, Tyron Johnson's much riskier than he was just an hour ago, and it looked like Mike Williams isn't going to play. But apparently Mike Williams is on a pitch count tonight, whatever that means. So he still does have some upside. I think Tyron Johnson's still going to get some reps tonight, but it is much more risky to be playing him now that Mike Williams is playing. And again, guys, we're 6 likes away from 150 likes on YouTube. Hit that like button. Helps us out a ton. Really do appreciate it. Carson or Mike Davis. I would lean towards Chris Carson over Mike Davis, but it's close. Keenan Allen or DJ Moore. This is where you really got to make a gut call about Keenan Allen. To me, Keenan Allen versus DJ Moore. Do you think Keenan Allen is playing over 50% of the snaps tonight? I do. So I would be playing Keenan Allen over DJ Moore. But if you don't think that's the case, then I wouldn't. Again, there's all sorts of injuries for the Raiders tonight. So I am okay starting Keenan Allen over DJ Moore. Again, you got to know when you're taking advice from me too. I like to take risks. I like to take risks in life. I think it's a good philosophy to take high risk, high reward options in life. That's why I risked every single dollar I had in my bank account to start a business. And you can support that business, by the way, by going and downloading the WalterPicks app in the iOS App Store, starting your 3-day free trial today. And we have an exploitable player prop pick already in the app for tonight. I'm feeling very confident about it. And I think that the good strategy for trying out the WalterPicks app is you go download the app, then you go start the completely free 3-day trial, and then you get access to our exploitable player prop pick for tonight. You take that prop pick, you go bet $50 on it. Then you just, once it wins, you just paid for a year-long subscription to the best fantasy football and fantasy basketball projections in the universe for pretty much completely free. So, I mean, it's a no-brainer process right there. There you go. I just cracked the code for all of you. Yeah, you got to go download the WalterPicks app on the iOS app. So I spent over 400 hours building the app. And guys, we're 3 likes away from 150 likes on YouTube. Who's going to hit that button? Eckler over Jacobs, guys. Austin Eckler, especially in a PPR league, you can't go wrong with Austin Eckler. He's going up against a Raiders defense that has allowed 200 rushing yards in back-to-back weeks. One of those weeks was against the New York Jets. The New York Jets ran for 200 yards against this defense, and the defense for the Raiders was actually healthier then than it is now. I don't understand how this Chargers team is a 3-point underdog in this game, given all the injuries to the Raiders on the defensive side of the ball. I mean, the reason that they're 3-point favorites in this game is because they need this win for the playoffs, and the Chargers are eliminated from the playoffs. But I'm not buying that logic. I like the Chargers a lot, +3 tonight, and money line. Again, I don't bet on spreads because I've had a positive ROI betting on player props, so I only bet on player props now. But I do like the Chargers +3. Montgomery, Taylor, or Jefferson. I would probably lean towards Taylor. Jonathan Taylor is a really tough guy to not put in your starting lineup at this point. Chris Carson or Wayne Gallman. I would definitely go Chris Carson there. How do you know if you're in a PPR league? Gamester boy. I mean, at this point, it's a little late to be checking that, but you can go check in your league settings. Point per reception. Breeze will play, correct? No, that's not confirmed. And honestly, it's still looking like he's not going to play because they don't want to rush him back, but that's unconfirmed still. Josh Allen or Lamar. Again, here's the only quarterbacks I'm starting over Justin Herbert. Lamar Jackson, Patrick Mahomes, Aaron Rodgers, Josh Allen, and Kyler Murray. And yes, I would be playing Lamar Jackson over Josh Allen, but both of them are fantastic options. Both of them are going to finish top 5. Is Allen going to go off? Yeah, it's not going to be that surprising with all these people panicking about Keenan Allen. It'd be such a 2020 and such a fantasy football playoff thing to happen for all these people to. You'll take $100, Raiders -3. I don't take bets, Jimmer, so unfortunately, you're gonna have to go to official sportsbook for that. Though I am only betting on player props these days as well. But again, I do like the Chargers +3. I think that they're going to win this game against a bad Raiders defense. This Raiders defense allowed 200 rushing yards to the Jets, and then again 200 rushing yards to the Colts, and now we're seeing a lot of people playing that we weren't even expecting to play for the Chargers. I think that the Chargers are going to take this game, man. But yeah, if you wanted to bet on the Raiders, you just got to go to a sports book. They'll take that bet, man. Hey, Sam, crew be back again. Good to see you, man. Watson or Teddy, and MT or Jeff Wilson. Godwin or Jeff Wilson. I mean, definitely, I would go Watson and Michael Thomas, then Godwin there. Definitely not Jeff Wilson over Michael Thomas. I would go Hines over Gallman, too. T.Y. Hilton or Keenan Allen? T.Y. Hilton or Keenan Allen? That's where I'm drawing the line because I do really like T.Y. Hilton over Keenan Allen, but I would probably, it depends how risk averse you are. Like personally, I'm going T.Y. Hilton over Keenan because I think he's still going to have a fantastic game. He's always played well against the Houston Texans, but to me, Keenan Allen has higher upside than T.Y. Hilton, but he also has a lot more risk given that he's on a snap count tonight, whatever that means. Whatever that means. I mean, you got to decide what you think that snap count is going to be. Last year, here's some insight for you all that have to make this tough Keenan Allen decision. Last year, Keenan Allen was supposedly going to be on a pitch count against the Bears. This is last season. And he ended up playing a nice 69% of the snaps instead of his usual 90%. But he still had 7 catches for 53 yards on 10 targets in a tough matchup. So I'm not going to be surprised when Keenan Allen still goes for 7 catches and over 50 receiving yards and a touchdown tonight against a very injured Raiders defense without their top 2 cornerbacks. Yes, I would start Keenan Allen over Terry McLaurin. Again, when he was on a snap count last year, that meant he played 70% of the snaps still. So I still think that Keenan Allen's a wide receiver too. He just has increased risk. Is Jonathan Taylor consistent enough? Consistency does not matter with Jonathan Taylor because his upside is just so high, and the offensive line and his breakaway ability has just really come on over the last few games that you got to get him into your starting lineup. Yeah, I'm playing him over James Robinson even. And guys, on TikTok, but with my live streams, I always end on YouTube for the last 5 minutes. I like to chat on YouTube a little bit more because it's a little less spammy. So if you want to continue on, you can go watch us on YouTube live. You got to go hit that subscribe button on YouTube. But that's my time on TikTok, guys. Have a fantastic Thursday night. Don't be surprised when the Chargers, as 3-point underdogs, upset the Las Vegas Raiders tonight. I will not be surprised at all. And also don't be surprised when Justin Herbert solidifies this season as the best rookie quarterback season of all time. Have a fantastic Thursday night, guys. All right, guys, I am live on only YouTube right now. Let's get after it. I'm going to try to get to as many questions as I possibly can for you all. Hit that like button if you're just tuning in. Hit that subscribe button. Really do appreciate it. Pick 2, Keenan, Ayuk, Robbie Anderson. Love the content, by the way. Thanks, man. I appreciate that. I would personally be going Keenan Allen and Ayuk. But again, I've been saying all night, Donna, that T.Y. Hilton's a pretty good backup plan for Keenan Allen. So I just read you what happened last season when he was on a snap count. It was 69% of the snaps. He still saw 10 targets. And against this Raiders team, if he sees 10 targets, he's going to do better than T.Y. Hilton does. So I'd probably go Ayuk and Keenan. Again, if you're watching live on YouTube right now, hit that subscribe button. Hit that like button. Let's see if we can get to 200 likes before I got to close out this stream. We got about 5 to 10 minutes. There's no need to spam. I'm going to try to get to all of your questions. Again, I really do appreciate everybody tuning in. Hit that like and subscribe button. Montgomery or Jacobs? I'd go Jacobs, guys. Jacobs is in a good spot tonight. How do you feel about Jay Robinson or Akers? I'd go Akers. I think Akers is a must start. Cole Kmet or Logan Thomas? I'd go Kmet. Jeffrey Wilson or Nyheim Hines? We got to wait and see about the news on Raheem Mostert, but I do like Wilson if he sits. Otherwise, I'd probably go Hines. Terry or Ridley. You can't be benching Ridley. I'd definitely go Ridley over him. T.Y. or Lockett. I would, at this point, be going T.Y. Hilton over Tyler Lockett. And once I get to your question, too, you don't need to send it in the chat so I can try to get to everyone else's question. Hunter Eckler, you got to go Eckler tonight, guys, especially in a PPR league, point per reception. Austin Eckler's a running back 1, and I like Kareem Hunt, but Austin Eckler's on the field a lot more than Kareem Hunt is. I'm definitely going Herbert over Tannehill, 100%. The only quarterbacks I'm starting over Herbert are Josh Allen, Aaron Rodgers, Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, and maybe Kyler Murray. That's it. Hunter Eckler. Again, I would go Eckler there. Pick 2, Ayuk, Deontay Johnson, Miles Sanders, or Mike Davis. I would go Ayuk and probably Miles Sanders there. Thoughts on Eckler today? I think he's going to be fantastic today, guys. Austin Eckler is going to ball out. Hit that like button, guys. Let's see if we can get to 175 likes. Hit that like button. I'm trying to get to every single person's question before I wrap up for the night. I think that the Chargers are going to cover the spread tonight +3. I think they're a pretty good option. Money line, if you're looking for an exploitable player prop pick, there's still enough time to get it in. Go download the WalterPicks app. Start your 3-day free trial. Then dominate with the prop pick tonight. You'll pay for your year-long subscription with one free bet. Yeah, we are going to be having some NBA content coming soon. I'm really excited for that announcement. Thoughts on defense this week? Yeah, I think the Patriots are my favorite sleeper defense since the beginning of the stream, and I need your help. Derek, I got you, man. Keenan Allen, Aaron Jones, Akers, A.J. Brown, Ayuk. I need a running back, wide receiver, and a flex. I personally would be going with Cam Akers, A.J. Brown, and Brandon Ayuk there. And it's going to be tough to watch Keenan Allen, especially if he does well, Derek, but Akers, A.J. Brown, and Ayuk are all fantastic options. Roll with the rookies, man. The rookies are taking over the league. A.J. Brown, second year. Akers and Ayuk, rookies. Go with your young studs, man. Pick 2. Evans, Deontay, Lockett, or Akers. I would go Akers and Evans there. Yeah, I don't rate your fantasy teams. That is correct, Ben. If I were to rate your fantasy team, I'd give it like a 37 on a scale of 24 to 133. I hope that helps. Thoughts on McLaren? Yeah, Terry McLaurin's really been disappointing. Guys, we're only 7 likes away from 175 likes. Let's see if we can do it. Hit that like button. Really do appreciate it. I'm trying to get to every single one of your questions before we wrap up. Jacobs or Woods for flex? I would go Jacobs over Woods, but he is in a good spot. Michael Thomas, Antonio Brown, and Corey Davis. I would rank them as Michael Thomas, Corey Davis, then Antonio Brown. Browns defense or Dolphins defense? Dolphins defense is in a pretty good spot. They've been looking good. The Patriots are not a very scary offense. Sam, Woods or Jefferson? I would lean towards Jefferson for the upside, but Woods absolutely safer. Let's go. We passed 175 likes. Guys, we're only 14 likes away from 200. Can we hit it in the next 9 minutes, the last 9 minutes of this stream, as I'm trying to get to every single one of your questions? Toss a like, and I will do my best to get to your question. Big Ben or Jalen Hurts? I would go Big Ben. I want to see Jalen Hurts be able to throw the ball a little bit, but Hurts has a safer floor than Big Ben because of his rushing upside. We're only 20 likes away from 200, guys. Who's going to be our 200th like? Akers or Taylor? The 2 rookies are tough to decide between, but I don't think you can bench Cam Akers as over a 2-touchdown favorite against the Jets. He's averaging 25 touches per game over the last couple of games, so you got to start Cam Akers. Keenan, Godwin, or Swift? I would rank them in that order. I'm okay starting Keenan Allen over Swift, and I'm honestly okay starting him over Godwin as well. Again, last season, Keenan Allen was on his snap count last season against a good Bears defense. He played 69% of the snaps. He saw 10 targets, turn that into over 50 yards. I think we're going to see something similar tonight from Keenan Allen, where he still sees 10 plus targets. He still goes over 50 yards. He still scores a touchdown. Pick 2, Lockett, DeAndre Swift, or Thielen. I would probably go with Lockett. I'd probably go with Swift and Thielen. Lockett's really just been too boom or bust this season. My name's actually not Walter. I built an artificially intelligent algorithm. His name is Walter. You can get access to his fantasy football and basketball projections in the WalterPicks app on the iOS App Store. But my name is Sam. It's a classic mix-up. No worries about it. Who do I start? Aaron Jones, Alvin Kamara, Cam Akers. Pick 2. I would personally go Akers and Aaron Jones, but it's very close, KJ. And if you want access to artificially intelligent projections, completely free, go download the WalterPicks app on the iOS App Store. It'll help you out as well. Drop Claypool. He's pretty close to droppable at this point. he's losing reps to James Washington. Guys, we're 15 likes away. 15 likes away from 200. Hit that like button. I'm going to try to get to every single one of your questions. It's been a very fun stream. Appreciate everybody that's been tuned in. Hit that like button. I would really love to get to 200 likes before I logged off. Do you think Kamara will get touches? He needs and Saints upset the Chiefs. Yeah, I do think Kamara will get touches. He definitely needs to do it if the Saints want to upset the Chiefs. So it's never easy benching Kamara. Kamara versus Aaron Jones, they're very similar options at this point. Ayuk or McLaren, definitely Ayuk for me at this point. Ridley or A.J. Brown, both of them. You got to get both of them in your starting lineup, but I'd rank Ridley over A.J. Brown. Thoughts on McLaren versus Seahawks? Yeah, he has a great matchup, but he has no quarterback. He's really struggled over the last few weeks, and he's tough to trust. Aaron Jones or Cam Akers this week? Definitely Cam Akers. I think you have to start Cam Akers. Thanks for the great stream, man. You to go. No problem, Jack. I got you, man. Thanks for tuning in. I appreciate you. Thoughts on McLaren versus Seahawks? Yeah, he has a great matchup, Juan, but he definitely is risky given how he's performed over the last 3 weeks. Let's see if we can get to 190 likes, guys. We're 4 likes away. Who wants to be our 190th like? We're so close to 200. I want to see if we can hit it before I log off. We got 6 minutes left. He said Jacobs. Yeah, I did say Jacobs for you. Arhoon Baller. Who do I start? Deontay Johnson or Keenan Allen? Why are you so angry, David? I would start Keenan Allen there. I think Keenan Allen, again, he played 69% of the snaps last season when he was on a snap count. He still saw 10 targets in that game. If he sees 10 targets in this game, you're going to be wanting to play him over Deontay Johnson because he's up against the Raiders defense without their top 2 cornerbacks, without their best edge rusher, without their best safety, and without their best defensive lineman. I mean, I just named every single part of their defense that has an injury tonight. They are going to do very, very well. That Chargers offense is going to cook. I think that the Chargers offense is going to win them this game. I don't understand why they're 3-point underdogs. I think that this Raiders defense is one of the worst defenses in the NFL right now, averaging over 200 rushing yards per game over the last 2 games. That includes a 200 rushing yard game against the New York Jets on only first and second downs. This Raiders defense is atrocious, and that's why the over-under in this game is 51.5. Kamara, Chubb for RB1, definitely Chubb. Ayuk or Justin Jefferson? I would lean towards Justin Jefferson, but both of them are fantastic options. Guys, we are 8 likes away from 200. Who's going to help us get to that 200 mark? Hit that like button. Really would appreciate it. I got you, man. I'm glad I can help you guys with your fantasy football decisions in the playoffs. And good job getting into the semifinals, by the way. This was an extremely challenging fantasy football season. Probably the most challenging in my lifetime that I can remember. I'm still in the semifinals in a few of my leagues as well. Hurst or Komet? I would go towards Komet there. Guys, we're 6 likes away. Hit that like button. You can be our 200th like. We got 4 minutes to get 6 likes. I think we can do it. Hayden Hurst or Dan Arnold? I would probably go Hayden Hurst there. Kyler or Rodgers? I would lean towards Aaron Rodgers over Kyler Murray. And again, the only quarterbacks I'm starting over Justin Herbert tonight, it's Josh Allen, it's Lamar Jackson, it's Aaron Rodgers, it's Patrick Mahomes. And then Kyler Murray's in the conversation as well. Akers or Jacobs rest of the season? It's Cam Akers. Lockett or Beasley or Claypool? I would lean towards I would probably rank them in that order, man. Russ or Tannehill? I would go Russ over Tannehill. Guys, we're 6 likes away. 6 likes away from 200. Yeah, someone disliked Kyle. People get angry when I tell them their team is going to lose, which is probably the Raiders, who need a win to make the playoffs tonight, by the way. The Las Vegas Raiders, really, that's why they're favored in this game. It's because they desperately need a win. The Las Vegas Raiders are still in playoff contention, but their defense is all sorts of injured, and their offense is good enough. But to me, they're going to lose this game because of their defense. I think you're going to see that on full display tonight. Guys, we're 4 likes away. 4 likes away from 200. Lockett, Davis, or Ayuk at flex? I would go Ayuk, guys. You got Ayuk and Cam Akers are in must-start territory for me this week. Again, if right now the Raiders have a 15% chance to win, to make it to the playoffs. If they win tonight, that chance goes all the way up to 22%. If they lose tonight, though, they're under 3% chance to make the playoffs. This is a playoff game for the Las Vegas Raiders. It's why they're favored, but I don't think that's going to be enough for them to win this game. Keenan, Justin Jefferson, Hilaire, Ayuk, Fournette. I would go with Keenan, Ayuk, and Justin Jefferson there. I don't trust Hilaire or Fournette very much. Guys, who's going to be our 200th like? We're only 4 likes away from 200. Hurts or Goff? I would go Goff over Hurts. Goff is in a great matchup with the Jets this week. My league mates ask me how I'm so good. I tell them I'm a guru, but it's just WalterPicks. Yeah, Evan, I hope you consider telling them about WalterPicks at the end of the season. I'm glad it helped you dominate your friends this season, though. Yeah, I do think Waller can go over 20. He's one of the best tight ends in the league. He had just recently the 6th best tight end game of all time. Guys, we got 2 minutes to get 4 likes. I know we can do it. Hit that like button. Really would appreciate hitting that 200th like. Amari Cooper or Chris Carson at flex. I would lean towards Chris Carson over Amari Cooper. Guys, we're 2 likes away. Who wants to be our 200th like? 1 like away. Who wants to be our 200th like on this stream? Really appreciate everyone that's tuned in. And there we go. We passed 200 likes. Appreciate everyone who helped us get there. Really do appreciate it. Dolphins defense or Washington defense. I would lean towards Dolphins defense against the Patriots. They're in a fantastic spot. Fantastic spot. Thanks to everyone for helping us get to 200 likes. Bills or Titans? I would go Bills. I got time for 1 or 2 more questions. Robbie Anderson, Deontay Johnson, Jefferson, Godwin, or Cooper Kupp. Love the vid, Sam. Thanks, man. I would probably lean towards Justin Jefferson, Godwin, and Kupp this week. Colts D or Washington defense? Colts defense is pretty good this week. I'd probably lean Colts. Yeah, I do like Johnson over Guyton tonight. I guess we'll end with that because that's on the game tonight. Again, I think that Justin Herbert's going to solidify himself as the offensive rookie of the year tonight. He's going to break all sorts of records tonight. I think he's going to go over 300 yards and multiple touchdowns. I think you're going to see a very injured Raiders defense. I don't think they're going to win this game. I think they're going to lose as 3-point favorites, and I think they're going to be eliminated from playoff contention tonight. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in. I will be live for the 3 to 4 hours leading up to football on Sunday. Probably going to sneak in a live stream sometime on Saturday. There's Saturday football this week as well. Guys, have a fantastic Thursday night. I hope everything goes well for your fantasy lineups. Good luck, everyone. And definitely, we are rooting hard for Kalen Ballage tonight. Have a great one, guys.